White House failure to halt Israel's military operation in Gaza could cost President Biden on the election day as the ongoing war becomes a leading international policy issue in the coming American presidential elections. Anger continues to grow over increasing civilian casualties in the 6-month-long war sparked by a Hamas-led attack on Israel. Biden and his administration have called on Israel not to move forward with a planned incursion into the southern Gaza's Rafah region, the densely populated Palestinian territory where over 1.5 million people are believed to be taking shelter after his wartime cabinet meeting and with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu asserted that he would move on with the Rafah incursion plan with or without U.S. support. The U.S. could, but would not pressure Israel sufficiently to change course, something that would harm U.S. interests and Biden's image among his own constituency. Considering the president's fight for re-election, America definitely has the ability but not sufficient will to exert the required pressure on Israel, despite the internal perception in America due to the crimes it commits and the endangerment of American interests in the Middle East. This American path constitutes a strategic mistake at the domestic and international fronts. The American people will not accept the continuation of this blind bias towards Israel, and externally, this would threaten its interests in the Middle East. Netanyahu has appeared unfazed by U.S. criticism following his meeting with wartime cabinet members and Blinken on Friday. Netanyahu said in a video conference that he deeply appreciated U.S. support and the need to protect civilians and ensure humanitarian aid, but that we have no way to defeat Hamas without going into Rafah and eliminating the rest of the battalions there, and I told him that I hope we will do it with the support of the U.S., Netanyahu added, but if we have to, we will do it alone, without them. We share Israel's goal of defeating Hamas, which is responsible for the worst massacre of the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and we share the goal of ensuring Israel's long-term security, Blinken said. As we've said, though, a major military ground operation in Rafah is not the way to do it. It risks killing more civilians. It risks further isolating Israel around the world and jeopardizing its long-term security and standing. American efforts mediated by Egypt and Qatar to reach a ceasefire deal that would also see to the release of more than 100 hostages held by Hamas in Gaza continue to falter. Blinken also weighed in on the Biden administration's position during a press briefing after his meeting with Israeli leadership. Just how much the issue actually weighs on Biden's re-election chances would be clear later, as U.S. voters also contend with other concerns such as the economy, healthcare, immigration, and other domestic issues. The worst is the response of the handling of the issue in Gaza by Biden is that his rival, former President Donald Trump, has traditionally been a close ally of Netanyahu, while the presumptive Republican presidential nominee has largely avoided weighing in on the issue amid his campaign to retake office. Trump told Fox News this month that Israel must finish the problem in Gaza, arguing that the horrible invasion conducted by Hamas would have never happened if I was president. Soon after the unprecedented Hamas-led operation caught Israel, Trump criticized what he saw as a massive intelligence failure on the part of Netanyahu's administration, drawing some criticism from fellow Republicans. This American path constitutes a strategic mistake at the domestic and international fronts. The American people will not accept the continuation of this blind bias towards Israel, and externally, this would threaten its interests in the Middle East. Recent polling of U.S. opinion has indicated some troubling trends for Israel. While Israel remains far more popular than Hamas among the U.S. population, support for the country and its war effort has dropped. A Gallup poll this month showed that favorable ratings of Israel have slipped 10 points from 68% in February 2023 to 58% as of February 2024. Another poll by the Pew Research Center found that the favorability of the Netanyahu administration has dropped from 47% in 2022 to 41% this year, with unfavorable views rising from 43% to 51% during the same time period. In a survey by the Associated Press and Nork Center for Public Affairs Research, about half of those asked said Israel has gone too far in the conflict, a 10-point rise from 40% who said the same in November 2023. Those who described Israel as an ally also dropped, falling from 44% in November to 35%. After 3 months, a number of Muslim voters in the U.S. are also worried about voting for Biden over the U.S. role in Gaza and military operation along with the other growing crises across the Middle East. Biden has faced particular backlash in the swing state of Michigan, especially in Dearborn, home to the country's largest Muslim population per capita. Just how much the issue actually weighs on Biden's re-election chances would be clear later, as U.S. voters also contend with other concerns such as the economy, healthcare, immigration, and other domestic issues.